Today, I wanted to talk about challenging your brain, why it's important, and ways to challenge your brain. So, why is it important? Well, challenging your brain, think of it like using your brain in different ways. Different parts of our brain are in charge of different skills. And many times, as we get older, especially, we have gotten used to doing things a certain way, or we don't even practice using a skill that would strengthen our brain. So, what happens is when you don't use it, you lose it. So, the skill sort dissipates or minimizes. So, when we're looking at challenging your brain, you're basically using your brain as it's meant to be used, maximizing its potential. We want to develop cognitive resilience. Another important thing of challenging your brain, you want to develop cognitive flexibility. That means you're able to think, problem solve, think of things in different ways. Also, developing cognitive reserve. So, cognitive resilience and cognitive reserve, I have done a previous video on that, but with both of those, cognitive resilience and cognitive reserve, what we want to do is work on our cognitive skills, our brain skills, in order to create a reserve, to create a buffer. So when things get challenging in our lives, when it becomes stressful, that our brain has something for us to take. It has some buffer that in the past, if you have experienced some stress and a real challenging situation, when you experience that, people who don't have cognitive resilience and cognitive reserve will actually show a decrease in their brain and physical health. So, what we want to do is boost that up, and we can do that in many, many different ways. So, before I get into how to challenge your brain, I want you to just think of the different skills that our brain is in charge of. It's really amazing. And in my over 25 years of working in cognitive rehabilitation, I have seen many different patients with many different difficulties in all of these areas. And there are different ways that we work on improving these skill levels. But for someone who hasn't experienced a disease or an injury to the brain, you can still challenge your brain in there's probably 11 areas that you can consider in challenging your brain. But let's look at just first the skills that are important to, and this isn't a full list, but these are the most important skills to consider when you're challenging your brain. You want to look at things that will challenge and improve your memory, working on auditory memory, so what you listen to, and visual memory. You also want to have something that will work on your attention levels. There's a hierarchy of attention in our brain where we have sustained attention, and that's you're just listening to me, maybe watching the video. Then it can be selective attention where you could be listening to me or watching the video, but there's music in the background or someone talking in the background. So you're selectively choosing to listen to me. Your brain is choosing to listen and filters out the distraction, either the auditory or visual distraction. And then we go to from selective attention, it's alternating attention and divided attention. So you want to look at different activities that would challenge your attention and help you work on sustaining your attention and working on selective attention, especially. Other things to look at for your brain skill development is visual spatial skills. So think of geometric shapes, how things are placed in the environment, mirror imaging. There's quite a few brain games that will work on some visual spatial skills. You also want to look at language, developing language like word finding, word flexibility, processing information. Executive function skills such as planning, organizing, task completion, working memory, those are just some of the executive function skills. Also, calculations, mental math, but also on paper. Many of us have gotten used to not doing mental math, but it can be really helpful to challenge yourself with some mental math here and there. And another area that I like to work on is deductive reasoning skills. And that is really taking a puzzle or clues and solving for the problem. When you're looking at these skills, then you'll see them pop up in different ways in the areas of challenging your brain. So one thing that is very popular now are brain games on the computer, uh, or on your phone, your iPhone, or whatever kind of phone that you use. So it's brain games, but we're not just talking about the easy brain games. These are ones that challenge, maybe that offer memory, working on memory skills, language, word finding, visual spatial. So there's a few that I do like, the brain games on the computer or on the phone. Brain HQ, Lumosity, and Elevate. Those are all apps that can be really helpful in specifically working in brain skill areas. As I mentioned, just not all of them, but they definitely will highlight either working on memory or working on processing speed. So you can take a look at those and see which one to start with. You can also do brain games on paper. There are some workbooks that are available in the bookstore or wherever you buy your workbooks, to find them online. Also consider, so these are some other, just run through ways to challenge your brain. So you have your brain games, as I mentioned, on the computer or on paper. Think of card games. A lot of people enjoy card games, especially when it's a newer card game or you have to think while you're playing. Puzzles, that can be very helpful, especially for visual spatial skills, and visual attention and visual memory. Doing a new hobby or activity. So that can be a real important way to challenge your brain. You're doing something new. Maybe you've wanted to pick up crocheting or photography or learning to do something on the computer. But the same thing goes that if you have an activity that you currently do, could you do it a different way? And that will use different parts of the brain because it's a new way of doing the same activity. You can work on challenging your brain with dancing. There's also some research to show how music can help improve your brain function as well. And another area that many people may not even consider is teaching a skill to other people. When you have to teach a skill and show someone how to do something, it definitely challenges your brain to sequence the information, to remember what you want to say in order to communicate it effectively. And one skill that I really like working on, or one activity I really like working on to challenge my brain is reading. And it's not listening to a book, it's actually reading. And the reason is it not only builds vocabulary, but works on your visual attention, your working memory, sequencing, and visual imagery. And depending on if it's a fiction or nonfiction, you can even work on other brain skills. But reading, especially a paper book or even on an electronic, I'm a fan of a paper book, but definitely it works the same and similar with a book that you read on a tablet. You're working on these brain skills that it's almost like a one-stop shop. You can do a lot of challenging your brain by just reading every day. And the last way to challenge your brain is to practice mindfulness. Some research has shown that practicing mindfulness helps to improve our brain function in many different ways and actually can improve our working memory, which is an important brain skill. Many of my clients and patients will ask, well, how long should I really do these brain activities? Intentionally setting aside 10 to 15 minutes per day for brain games is important, but for other skills, or for the other activities, as I mentioned, the card games, the new hobby or activity, reading, teaching a skill to others, practicing mindfulness, those are things that you can do throughout the week, every day. The point is, you want to really use your brain in different ways. If you're going through your day and everything is a routine and you're not thinking, like not just thinking, but creatively thinking, then you're not maximizing on using your brain. So take these suggestions, see which one you'll work on this week, and make a plan in adding more every week so you can challenge your brain every day. Thanks and enjoy.